Hi, today let's talk about StatelessWidget. A StatelessWidget in Flutter is a class or a widget that does not require mutable state. This sentence says does not require mutable state, which means it can have mutable state. Today, let's try to abuse this API a little bit, and let's try to make a stateless widget that will have a mutable state, and it will also re-render that state. A stateless widget, as any widget, is just a definition of how something should look like, or it's a configuration of an element on the screen. The actual drawing and handling is done by render objects and elements. If we scroll down here to the methods section, we see that only two methods are defined in StatelessWidget that we can use, which is build, that we can use to provide the child tree of widgets, and then there is the create element method. This method is a key over here, because this method lets us create a new element and then play with this element. If we have a look into the stateless element, now this thing is inheriting from component element and from the element itself. And hence it gives us quite a lot of power over here. Here I have a very simple Flutter application which does nothing. I mean literally nothing, it just prints nothing on the screen. Let's do a couple modification over here. So first of all, we're having this text over here. So how about we wrap it with inkwell? So then we could potentially tap on it over here. So let's give it some callback on tap. Okay, and now it cannot be const anymore over here. We should give it a const here, and let's just put a to do for now. And let's create our element. So we want to have late final element equals stateless element, and we need to give it this, so it has a reference to our stateless widget. Now, of course, we can't have a const constructor anymore, so let's remove that. And now let's override the create element method. We don't need to do this. And let's return here our element. Let's just make it nicer. There we go. So what we just did is we created a stateless element for this stateless widget, and then we use the create element method to provide this element. We can now call our element over here and tamper with it a little bit. So let's say we have now some state. Let's give it a counter, starting with 0, an integer. And now let's say that nothing will say instant nothing space counter. There we go. So we print the counter over here, which we cannot have a const again. There we go. Nothing 0. And now, when we click on it, we want to increment our counter, and then we want to make some magic, so it will not only increment, but it will also render over here. So for now, let's just print it. Let's see if the value actually gets incremented. On click, there we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and goes on. Yes, but of course it's not rendering because there is nothing making this widget re-render. However, if we have our element and now we call mark needs build, let's say start that, there we go, nothing 5, nothing 6, nothing 7, there we go, we can see better. As a result, we have a stateless widget that has a mutable state, and this state is rendered. Bye bye.